Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Swinging at Shins, your favorite Premier League podcast. Today on the show, we have myself and Woodsy. Woodsy, how you doing?
Another day in paradise, brother. Another day in paradise.
Oh, come on. That's corporate talk. We don't like that. Rhett is not on the show today, unfortunately. He is very busy with lots of other things going on, but that's okay. Today, we're going to talk about was Virgil van Dijk's red card a straight red card? Probably not, but we'll discuss. West Ham can prove to be a chore this year. We kind of slept on them. Last year, they were a sleepy team. They kind of slept on themselves, but we'll also discuss why they have seemed to reemerge this year. But first, we're going to open up with Jenni Hermoso. Sorry, pronunciations here.
It is hard to say.
You want to go A, but you can't because it's O. What the hell is going on? Obviously we know what's going on. Oh no, Woodsy dropped out. Well, that's a little technical difficulty. But hopefully he will be back on in a moment. Anyway, Jenni Hermoso. There we go. He's back on. Dipped out.
But yeah,
I don't know what happened either.
My computer just kissed me, and it just I was like, no, get off, and it went away.
Anyway, I haven't really started into anything other than the fact that saying her name wrong again. But
we're gonna get it right. It deserves to be right because I gotta support Hermoso with what she's been going through. I mean, this Rubiales guy is. I mean,
he's a turd.
He's an asshole. He's an asshole. We can say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we can get away with that.
What a terrible human being he is, and to have, basically the people that are backing him in this federation and throughout Spanish football, I would say to them, you're just disgusting. You're disgusting human beings. For doing this to this woman at the peak, one of the peak moments of her life has to be overshadowed by this piece of shit UEFA guy that runs with the Spanish FA.
Yep.
I'm pissed off for her, and I shouldn't be. It's something that shouldn't happen. I shouldn't have to be pissed off about something that happens after a match or something that happens. That shouldn't be happening at all. And here we are, having to talk about that. So yeah, I'm pissed off for her. She deserves a lot better than that. Not only from the footballing world, but from her own federation and just the Spanish media is disgusting as well. I don't even know where to begin with them. There's people backing him, calling for him to stay in his job. I'm just bewildered by the stances of some of the people that are around this gentleman that I don't even like saying his name.
Don't even call him a gentleman. He's not that.
I know. I think that's insulting to the dirt. I don't know.
It's so bad to the point where family members of Rubiales, and media are pressuring Hermoso's family, friends, and whoever she's in contact with to pretty much lie and say, you wanted this kiss. You wanted this to happen. And that's, if you look at the video, and I'm sure it's around the world, it happened in live television. It happened live, that she wanted no part of what he was offering. And
some of the other girls that were getting kissed too, them not on the lips, but the other girls that were getting kissed too, I don't think they wanted that either.
Why would you? It's awful. You're not in for the kiss. Hello, you're in for the trophy. I don't want any solicit unoffer from you. Fuck, piss off. It's disappointing, and I'm proud of the other soccer players, whether it's her national team or Spanish players around or other players surrounding it that know about this, because who doesn't know about this at this point, backing Hermoso and giving her support. And there has been a few players in the Spanish international players who aren't playing for the international team until they, get justice for Hermoso. So
a lot of Real Betis guys, Borja Iglesias,
mm-hmm.
Hector Bellerin. I believe Isco actually said something as well. Isco, the former Real Madrid man,
mm-hmm.
said the same thing as well. I mean, and the fact that this guy was even allowed on the pitch after what you saw in the stands, that's another thing that I think needs to be brought up is he was already, I don't know if he had been indulging in beverages or what prior to the game or during the game or what it is, but his actions up in the booth should have told everyone who he was with that he should not be on the pitch.
Yeah, right. Nah, we can't have him down here.
Yeah, I mean the guy was absolutely obnoxious,
right?
And the cameras caught it, which is the best thing, because now you can see what this guy was before the moment.
There's the build up. There's evidence
before the moment.
Yeah.
So I hope this gets resolved to the likeness of Hermoso and the women on that team that to be honest with you had one of the better sporting triumphs of the year. If you really watched that team and paid attention to that team, they were clearly one of the better teams and one of the more fun teams to watch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of storylines with that team, and it all gets ruined by this scumbag. This is gonna be an episode where Matt's language kind of takes a dip. So be prepared. But I've had a lot to get riled up over the last days and week or so since the last show. This in particular, the more I dove into it, the more I read about it, and you and I have been texting back and forth and messaging, and it's every morning it's something new, every morning one of us is messaging each other to find out something new.
And it always seems to be a story change on the president's side. Not at no point has Hermosa changed her story. She's always said, and it's been consistent, that I did not want this kiss. There is nothing that I did not say that I wanted this kiss. It was uncomfortable. All those, she had not changed her narrative whatsoever. And Luis was like, I think it was that Monday, was like, oh, I'm sorry-ish. And then all of a sudden it flipped back, was like, nah, never mind. It's disgusting. It bothers me so much.
The type of people that are within UEFA. And it goes, again, it starts at the top with UEFA.
Yeah.
So if and this guy's got a pretty high role. So the one thing that I think is going to save that Spain will do to kind of save their ass in all this is realize that they have, and this is the worst part about this that really ticks me off, is that Spain is going to try to capitalize off this somehow. So what Spain is going to probably do, and I'm going off of what I know, what I've heard, and what is coming up. Spain is making a run at the 2030 World Cup. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
they're going to try to make a run there. They're trying to beat out Saudi Arabia. They're trying to beat out a lot of the other bids. Their big bid is that 2030 World Cup. Yep. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, they're going to find a way to get him out and make it act like they were doing the right thing by getting rid of him.
Right.
So that they can be looked at, upon by the other countries that are going to be voting and saying, we did this to, because it was the right thing to do, and they're gonna be advocates for women's rights when really they're not. So that is one of the most disgusting things is that the Spanish FA, in my opinion, is going to try to do that in order to make money off of a potential World Cup that they may get. And I could see something where there's a lot of dirty things going on with UEFA.
Yeah.
I don't want to put anything out there. I just want to say what I think is going on behind the scenes, and what I've heard in the past, and what I've witnessed in documentaries and stuff like that is I think the Spanish FA is going to do everything that they can to utilize this situation to make it benefit them in some way, which is the most disgusting thing they could do. If anybody needs to be benefited out of this, benefit is probably the worst word to use. If anybody needs to be if anybody needs anything out of this whole thing and support out of this whole thing, it's Jenni Hermoso. That's the start all end all of any debate.
Yep.
That's it right there. I'm appalled that the sport actually has to get involved in the politics of all the BS that's going to be around this. It only does one thing. It only does one thing. It hurts the sport.
Yep.
It hurts the sport, and that's just on the basis of what it is. But you have a bigger sense of what's going on, and it's just a disgusting act by a disgusting human being, and I just don't I don't know why we have to keep going through moments like this.
I know
it's not the first one, and
no.
It should at this point. What the heck are we doing with some of these people?
Right. It's. I agree. It's just a pain. It's a pain that these people are still. I don't have any more to add. That's what I'm trying. I'm stumbling. We don't have any more to add. We hope that everything goes. We hope that everything goes the way.
Power.
We hope that everything goes the way.
Yeah.
It's all about power too. Everything goes the way Hermoso. It should go.
This guy's not resigning because he wants the power and he wants the money, and that's the only reason why he hasn't resigned.
Yep. So, all right, let's move on to the Premier League. What we actually love and do the best, we try to do the best anyway. So, rundown of match day 3 scores here. Chelsea 3-0 against Luton Town at home. Both of us got that correct. I don't know if I'm pretty sure he did. I don't have it up. I lie. I have it right.
I know he had Chelsea winning. I think he might have had
it
was 4-0 or something.
Nah, I had it 2-1.
Did he have 2-1?
Yeah. Let's see. Bournemouth lose against Spurs 2-0. I'm not sure who has that because I'm not parsing it out right now, but I'm pretty sure everybody. Oh, I think everybody got.
I think we all had Spurs. I think, right?
Red actually had Spurs draw with Bournemouth, and then I think you and I had it right. Fulham and Arsenal, neither of us got this. Any of us got this right. It ended up being a 2-2 draw. Incredible draw. It was
I'll tell you what, hell of a performance by Fulham. I could not believe the way they played, especially going down a man.
Yep.
On a bogus yellow. I mean, yellows will be the topic of discussion this episode, but that Calvin Bassey yellow was probably one of the worst yellow cards in the history of the Premier League.
Well, so the second one I think was actually
worth
the yellow.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty stupid.
It's the fact that I mean, just to go off a tangent here, but and I swear I'll get us back on track, but the rule, if anybody's listening that doesn't know the rule is if there is a player still within the box for a goal kick, there is no initiative for the player to take that kick. So Bassey, doing the right thing in all honesty, is waiting, and the referee just decides to give him a card for time wasting when theoretically he's doing exactly what the rule is meant for in the rule book. So again, we can go back to these referees all day, and we probably will, but they don't know what the hell they're doing out there.
I think this year has been the worst year, and I don't know if it's because they decided to do too much this year, and we're doing this, and this, and now all the refs are like, we have to do what now? So they definitely obviously know that they can't kick the ball away. They can't get berated. The refs can't get berated. And
guess how many
time wasting.
I got a fun stat for you that I read today. Guess how many yellow cards were given for dissent so far this year?
This year? Oh. So would you consider dissent also asking for yellow cards? Or is it dissent as in just okay, yes. Let's see. There's been 3 match weeks. I'm gonna go with there's been at least 30.
Close. There's been 24.
Yeah.
Guess how many we had through 3 match weeks last season?
2.
3. You're close.
Oh.
3. So that's. I mean, if you see the differential there, I mean, it's absolutely insane what is going on in the Premier League, and it comes back to these referees being in my opinion, uneducated, incompetent, and in some ways there has to be some type of, and I'm going to say the C word, corruption. There has to be some type of corruption or something going on, because since Howard Webb has come in, these guys, they have all just shit the bed every single week. Like there is a terrible call in every game every week. It was never like this 10 years ago. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't
even.
And I know
like this last we got VAR and all that stuff, but Jesus,
it wasn't even this bad last season. Like it was okay, and always. And honestly, if you're a ref, like just being okay is good. Like as long as you don't blow calls or you don't make terrible calls or anything like that, you're an okay ref. You're a good ref. That's all that matters. But these refs have been worse than okay.
Yeah, and Aaron, it goes to what I think we talked about in the last show with Mike Dean. Mike Dean, came out with a stupid thing to say live on air, which, by the way, the next day he kind of rebutted on that, and almost, in my opinion, dug himself a deeper hole. So
yeah.
But these referees, there needs to be an independent body that either investigates the referees or takes part of their job away, so that there is no idea of corruption for people to think about. Whether that's a separate VAR entity, which is separate from the PGMOL, because that's what you need. I think something needs to be done there. But we'll get to a bunch of yellow card and red card situations later, unfortunately.
Yeah, so let's move on to Brentford. It ended up being a 1-1 draw with Crystal Palace. Nobody got that.
Awful game. I watched part of it. Awful game.
It was pretty tough to watch, to be honest. Everton and Wolves. I don't know if either of us had that. I know I didn't. I had that as a draw at 2-2 though. So
yeah, I think we all had it as a draw. I think pretty much.
Yeah, Rhett had it at a 0-0, 0-0, and you actually had it as a 1-1. So yeah. So nobody had them winning. Wolves winning. That match was wide open. It was insane. Yeah. But
that's what a save by Jose Sa. Did you see that save?
Yes, the one where he tipped over the bar.
Unreal
Holy
save.
Good God. It was insane.
Everton can't buy a goal, man. I mean, they just bought a striker, but I don't know. Let's see if this guy can buy a goal, because I don't think they can.
No, I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. Manchester pull one out of their butts, United here, against Forest. Forest went up immediately within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they also said, yeah, we're still Forest.
Again, though, dodgy decisions by VAR and by the referee.
Sure.
First on that red card, which in all honesty, I could see that one going either way. That's one of the tougher ones. The only thing was, I don't know if he was the last man back. If I
that was
saw the replay.
Too. Yeah. It was Bruno didn't really have it collected all that. Bruno or Rashford, somebody didn't have it collected all that well. And the commentators are like, well, how certain are you that it's actually a clear and obvious, goal scoring opportunity? And I was like, I think I'm right. I think they're right with that. I don't think it's clear and obvious, because you don't know what happens after the next two dribbles after.
Exactly, and that's the blurry, section in those.
It's
those
so gray
terms. It's so bad.
And
then the other call, the Rashford one, that one too, I thought was a horrendous call. I thought Rashford.
Oh yes, where Rashford got called for dissent or a foul.
No, the Rashford, the penalty.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking the one where he actually was kicked the ball away in frustration, and it wasn't actually for.
Which, by the way, hit a ball boy.
I saw that, poor kid.
and you got to be kidding me.
I don't know. If
it was a Liverpool player, would have got a straight red, but
probably.
Neither here nor
there. Brighton actually lose. They got handled 3-1 against West Ham.
West Ham, this is the team, man. I did not see David Moyes coming out like this with a perfectly executed game plan. It was one of the more fun games I've watched all year. And for a lot of people, it was one of the most boring ones. But you could see the game plan right away, and he executed it perfectly. The players, I thought, were excellent that day.
It was play direct, play over the top, and if we happen to get Mikel Antonio on the ball, and he just had a super goal. And that was, I think, the problem last year with, we'll discuss about it. We'll move on. Burnley 1, Aston Villa 3. I think everybody had Aston Villa winning, and I think nobody had West Ham actually winning the last one.
Did I have the score on that one?
I believe you. Hold on. Yes, you did. You had the score on that one too. Good for you, buddy. Sheffield United played a very tough match against City.
That was a good game.
Played a very
None
tough.
of us had that score line, I don't think, right?
No. I think it was a shutout for everybody. And even if at that rate, I think we would have assumed that City scored 3. They ended up scoring 2 in that match in like 10 minutes of each other. It was a match that City. It was vintage City because they weren't quite City, but they still figured out a way to win.
Rodri again with a big goal late on. Guy's clutch. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his. I don't think he's the greatest person from what I've seen, but damn good player.
Fine player. Love him.
Can't lie. He's a damn good player.
And then Woodsy's favorite: Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2.
Favorite in a lot of ways. I mean, I'll tell you, it was one of the first. It was one of the only games where I can remember that the roller coaster of emotions never hit such a low and such a high during that game. I don't think I've seen one like that in quite a long time.
You were pretty sad when I left the bar, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be tough."
Hey,
and then
when you left the bar, we won. I'm just saying, maybe it was the luck of Aaron on our side, but.
Or the ghost of Aaron, apparently.
Yeah. There's a lot. Hopefully, are we diving into this one first? Or?
Yeah, we're gonna run right into Liverpool because Virgil van Dijk saw a straight red. It was the 28th minute, right? 26th, 28th
minute, yes,
somewhere in that ballpark. And it was a foul just outside the box against Alexander Isak, who made a meal of it, but he did get fouled personally. Woodsy, just run away with it.
So straight away I thought immediately I thought Virgil got the ball. I thought he got it. Here's the thing. Football is a contact sport. It's a contact sport. There's going to be contact in every single instance. I'm sorry if a guy is so soft that if you touch his boot at all, he's going to go down in a wake of pain. I thought it was actually one of the better tackles of the season, if you really look at it. And if you look at it fast, it looks like a hell of a tackle. When you slow it down, it looks like a hell of a tackle. There's always going to be a bit of contact in there. That's just how the sport goes.
Sure.
I've heard multiple people, Mark Clattenburg, I've heard Tom Rennie, multiple people through the media say that was one hell of a tackle. That was a great tackle. It's a Virgil van Dijk type tackle. And a lot of people wouldn't even give a card. So that's where I think a lot of the Liverpool fans especially were kind of thrown off because it wasn't a dangerous play at all. I don't think he remember, Isak didn't even touch the ball yet. That ball hasn't even been played by him.
Yeah, it was barely collected.
And Virgil gets the ball. So he had not touched the ball that was laid in through him. So there's a lot of different things in this that I thought Virgil did well in. Now, then again, you look at the way that a lot of these referees are instituting rules now again. There is such a fine line where a guy's going to go down and he's going to milk it, and the referees they're just not competent enough to realize what's going on. And in the situation in this game, the moment was always too big for John Brooks. Yeah. The referee. He lost the game after 5 minutes. He lost the game. Sure. He had no control over the game. We're going to start off. Let's start off with the Trent Alexander-Arnold tackle. I'm sorry. Well, it was a tackle because it was a foul on Trent. If we're starting off first, so Gordon fouls Trent. And by the way, he fouled him 10, 12 feet in play, and he literally threw him off the pitch, and no foul called there. But Trent tosses the ball back onto the pitch. And by the way, there's a camera angle. You can see how far the ball goes. The ball goes about as far back as Trent flew. So it didn't go that far.
I was going to say, it went about where the foul was. Yeah.
For a body to go that far is one thing. So no call on that. Trent gets the yellow. Ridiculous yellow. Yep. By the way, that same instance, there's a camera angle. You can see Joelinton ask for a yellow card right in front of the referee's vision. Nothing was given there.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, that was actually the second one on Trent. That was the one where Gordon won the ball, tried to go down the line, threw the ball ahead of him like he always does, and Trent and him got in a battle on the edge there. That was a foul on Trent. I'm not gonna lie, that's a foul on Trent.
That's a foul on him.
But
it's a foul on Trent. That one should have been a yellow.
Which should have been a yellow, yes. But the fact that they got away with the first one, I thought was a bit atrocious.
Right. It could have been a gimme call, a makeup call for the really poor call for the throwing the ball away, essentially. But
yeah, and the
air quotes around that one too.
The craziest thing about this is a lot of people are thinking, oh, the referees were helping Liverpool in this game. One team had more fouls than the other. I can tell you that right now is Newcastle. They nearly doubled us throughout the game until the end of it. Joelinton did not get carded the entire game. He called for 2 cards when Virgil van Dijk got fouled and when Trent got fouled Gordon the second time.
Mm-hmm.
He called for cards twice in the line of the referee. The referee at the second time actually moved him out of the way to give the red card to Virgil van Dijk. So he basically said, I'm not going to instruct this rule. I'm doing this thing first, and I'm not even going to go back. So 2 instances that Joelinton should have got carded for wanting to show a card, which, by the way, I think there's only a handful of teams that have gotten called for that this year, Liverpool being one of them, which is McAllister. Going back to the Trent thing. So there's a camera angle you can also see, which is actually the first angle back after a replay of Trent throwing the ball back on the pitch, where Anthony Gordon literally kicks the ball away from Trent on the pitch, down the pitch, where a free kick was won. So I don't understand what these referees are doing, and it boggles my mind that they can actually institute a rule and think that these referees are actually going to be capable of pulling a rule and making it work. They are some of the most inept people on the face of the earth when it comes to doing their job. It's like a meteorologist, except that he reads the weather backwards.
Yeah.
Like he's looking at a map or he's looking at the green screen and he, is making up what he's going on. These guys don't know how to implement the rules. They just don't.
I think they're like I said before, I think they've been given too much and they don't know what rule to implement at this point. So they're confusing. They've over-confused and overcomplicated what was more simple to now being, okay, well, what do we need to look for at this point? And now there's no guidance.
Yeah, and the craziest part is that Liverpool committed, by the time Virgil got sent off, Liverpool had committed 2 fouls. Newcastle had 7 at the time. So I'm so confused as to how the cards came out so quick for one and not the other.
Yeah.
And then looking at it, I mean, you look at the end of the day, Liverpool got 3 cards, 2 yellows and a red, with I believe it was 11 fouls.
10.
And
I'm looking at it right now.
I believe it was 11 to 16 or 15, something like that.
16 to 10.
16 to 10. So there's quite a differential there, especially considering Liverpool did a lot of their fouling in the second half.
Yeah.
And the cards, I believe, were 1 to 3. Joelinton, especially how he made out with that game without a card is beyond me. But yeah, the PGMOL, I think, are especially with what's going on with Virgil van Dijk. So obviously today came out that he broke a rule regarding, cussing out the official, deservedly so. I thought he deserved it.
Yeah.
He called him an effing joke, which
was said caught on live air, which I think was more than anything. Like if the camera wasn't panned on him, he probably would have gotten away with it, because I'm pretty sure refs have been called more for less, and which just happened to be on live television and got caught.
But that's the thing, though. So there's other you can even say to this. There's other guys that have done worse, but what are they doing? What are the PGMOL and the FA doing? They're making an example of Liverpool.
It's true.
Why are they doing that? Because it's the only overturn that I believe they've had this year. Was McAllister.
Yeah.
Where they were looked like fools, and they were fools for that.
Yeah. It was a bad call too.
They also, and here's this too, Aaron. One of the bigger things that I'm going to basically say is that there's certain, cogs in this group here that are always with Liverpool whenever they have a game. The McAllister game, the VAR was Paul Tierney, the assistant VAR was Konstantin Hatzidakis. Paul Tierney historically, I mean, you name a game in Liverpool history, he's probably been there and screwed Liverpool over, especially the last 3 years. Konstantin Hatzidakis is the guy that elbowed Andy Robertson in the jaw last year and got away with it. Nothing. He issued an apology. So what I want Virgil van Dijk to do is issue an apology, because apparently if you do that, you're golden. You can get through with anything. We'll forget about it, right? Because that's how that works. So let's forget about it. Virgil, just say you're sorry we'll forget about it. That should be all that happens. The fact that they actually want to charge him.
Yeah.
Come on, like what the F? Like, it's ridiculous. We know you guys want to assert your almighty power because you're untouchable, and your referees, who continuously make mistakes game after game after game, get absolutely nothing. So it's I mean, let's go. Bruno Fernandes last year shoved a referee, got nothing. Nothing. Shoved a referee. They lost 7-0 that game, so that's a punishment in and of itself. But still, shoved a referee in the back, nothing. You can go to the Manchester City at one point. We're charged with surrounding the referee at a game. Okay, they continue to do it. Everybody continues to do it. Nothing is said after that. Marco Silva, by the way, another guy. He's already got 3 yellow cards this year. He's already said that the referees, are an issue to the league. He's probably going to get another fine after this last incident with Bassi.
Marco Silva is the head coach of Fulham. For those who don't know, he's not a player. He's a manager who is getting yellow carded this many times already.
I think they're trying to make an example of Liverpool again, and it's going to be people are going to come out there with a bullshit victim stuff, and that's expected because that's how low lives work. So, I see where they want to go with that. And I get it. They hate us because they ain't us. But you got these referees that are basically getting all these new rules, and they're picking and choosing when to use them and how to influence matches. And instituting new initiatives should be a flat iron thing. It's you either do it or you don't. You do it all the time or you don't. And you have VAR. Hey, if you want to really institute this shit, have VAR also check on it too. So they have avenues in which they can actually be good referees. They don't know how to use them. They don't want to use them. I don't know what the case is. That's their prerogative. But the refs are way too incompetent. Howard Webb is a terrible human being, way too incompetent to do his job. And there has to be a separate entity to basically make sure that there is no idea of corruption. And the last thing I want to make is, if the refs do their job properly, they will be treated like professionals.
That tends to help.
That's the bottom line here. Do your job properly, appropriately, and to the best of your ability. I don't think they're doing that. And that's not a Liverpool problem. It's not.
We've seen it across the league. It's
an Arsenal problem. You look at Arsenal the last couple of years. Have they not had some horrendous calls?
Yep.
Manchester City have even had some bad ones, and I hate to admit that they do. There's some referees out there, and I think we need a complete and utter changing of the guards. Get new, get them in there, make sure they know the rules, and get an independent body that will run your VAR system. That's just the way I think you can fix it, because I don't know what else. There seems to be like an initiative, and I'm sorry to go off on this long run here, but
I'm just impressed you haven't had to breathe.
There's not much oxygen going in right now, but no, there needs to be something that is done, and I think it'll probably take 6, 7, 8, 9 game weeks for them to be like, hey, we might have messed up on this rule. We're gonna tone it back a little bit. Shit's happened like that before. just kind of is what it is, I guess, with the way and everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on the rules being put through like this. So it's not just the FA and the PGMOL who have are made up of awful people that basically think they're almighty. But I would not be doing justice if I didn't say that the Premier League is also you're in on this. You're part of this. It's your image, and this is the league that promotes their referees unlike any league I've ever seen. They
Baseball.
put out they don't. Nobody does this. Nobody does this. Nobody puts out a press release on their social media, on the front of their website, through emails. Nobody puts out things that basically tell you who's refereeing stuff. In most sports, I wouldn't know until probably 7 minutes into a New York Giants game who the hell the referee is.
Baseball, I think, is the only one that's kind of like that in a sense, because they have the crew chief and then they rotate for the.
Yeah, but even baseball, they're not going above and beyond to publicize who it is, to let everybody know before the game. Hey, here's who's on. Here's who's behind the plate. They're not doing that. They're not. There's no sport, I think, in the world that does it the way the Premier League does. I don't even think other leagues do it. I got to do my research, but I don't think other leagues even do it to the way that the Premier League does. I'm astounded that it continues every single week.
Yeah,
and nothing's done.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that VAR, and Rhett and I have discussed about this before. That the way baseball works is that they have their own base in New York City, and it's its own little, nobody is biased. So it's not even an umpire that's making these calls. It's just people that know the game, that have been explained what to do, that are watching this, and then they give their call. It's not another ref, a part of it's not another umpire or anything like that. So we're all for the fact that VAR needs to be changed in that sense, that it needs to be more independent in that manner, because it's not even all right. Humans are humans, right? So they're going to make mistakes as well. It doesn't matter how many times you look at a thing in an image or a video, they're going to make a mistake. It's not robotic. It's not AI. It is what it is. We still have to live through human age. But it also shouldn't be a ref who could be friends with this ref, who then feels bad for this ref, that, can, make them feel better about the call, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's where that kind of gets me, is it shouldn't be, hey, I'm looking out for you, I got you kind of deal.
And by doing that, they're influencing the outcome of the game.
And I'm not saying they do this. Yeah. I'm just saying they could do this.
But you don't have to say it. Mike Dean already did.
Jesus.
He already did. He already said that. He already made it, well aware that, that he gave us one instance where it happened. I can guarantee you there's a hell of a lot more than one instance.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just, that game week that he was talking about. So I see, I can see something happening in the next few weeks where the Premier League is like, hey, we made a mistake or something. We got to tone it down. But it happens every single game week. And I'm not just trying to say that it's my teams. It's not just my team. Not. It is literally every team in this league.
Yep.
But the thing is, there actually needs to be a movement to say, let's get this sport back on track, because it's clearly losing a little bit of maybe it influenced the title race last year. I wouldn't know right now. I got to go back and look, but maybe there were instances like this that influenced the title race, and I'll guarantee you there were.
Yeah,
there is every year. And do you really want this dude in the ugly shirt on the pitch deciding who's going to win the title every year?
Or he might not even be on the pitch. He might be in a broadcast booth. Yeah, and looking down at the video monitors and stuff like that. Yeah. So it even comes down to that. So I just want to bring up that I haven't given my side of the VVD thing. So I think it was a foul. I think at most it should be a yellow card. And there was I can't remember who it was or who I was watching. Some Sky Sports announcer had said If it was like 2 yards back, it's a yellow. But because it was so close to the box, they felt the need to give a red because it seemed like the opportunity to call for a clear and obvious scoring opportunity. Which again,
I just want to say, with Allison Becker in goal, there ain't nothing clear and obvious about scoring right there.
Well, even like you still had Matip, you still had Trent, I think, was on that side. So there were avenues where players could have shut him down. It's a foul. It is not a red card. And I'm kind of surprised that Liverpool haven't appealed this red card. And because it was so, I don't know what you can and can't appeal, I should say, but I'm surprised that they haven't said anything to appeal or.
It is appealable. I know that.
Yeah, we kind of we froze Woodsy for a moment. I think he's run out of air.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did. You got me?
We're back.
If you want to go, how about this? We'll keep it to this matchup. 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Mohamed Salah's in on goal, 1-on-1.
Yep.
Jamal Lascelles literally shoves him in the back, inside the box. Not even a call. Not a foul. Not a pen.
And
nothing.
why don't we have?
We had VAR.
Why don't we have a system that says, "Oh, hey, this is a foul." Oh, wait, yes, we do.
But I'm just saying there was more contact in that, and that wasn't called, than there was in the Virgil van Dijk tackle, and he actually got the ball. There wasn't even an attempt from Jamal Lascelles to get the ball during that game. And you can go back and look at it. I mean, that one was a clear and obvious mistake.
Yep.
But I just don't know what these referees are being taught, what they're being what they're being told by the higher ups, by Howard Webb.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not beneficial for the game. It's not.
Let's move to something else that's kind of beneficial to the game, adds a little more competitiveness. West Ham have been playing well these last couple matches. They had a rough season last year, although I suppose rough in domestically. They did win the European Conference League last season, so they did get a trophy. They're playing. David Moyes has them playing well, well enough in the sense that they've got 7 points. They're not in the bottom like some people thought they would be when they sold Rice, and I think they've done good. They've done good business with the Rice money. They've gotten 3 standout. Well, I wouldn't say standout yet, but they've gotten quality for their money. They end up getting James Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, another midfielder who's supposed to be a replacement for Rice, and they went and picked up Kudus, who is supposed to be nasty from PSV,
from Ghana, I believe.
Well, I mean,
where did he play? Oh, yeah,
Ajax. It's one of those Eredivisie teams, whatever. You pick
one of those Dutch teams out there.
Right, no, it's like one of the 3. It's either AZ Alkmaar, PSV, or Ajax. Come on.
Yeah, right.
It's nothing else. It's nothing else.
That's so true, though.
You're not going to get what is it?
Every now and then you get a Feyenoord in there, but
that's true. That is fine. I kind of forgot about them, but they don't win that often, so you kind of forget about them.
True. I believe they might have won last year. It was either them or PSV. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
Might have been Feyenoord, actually. That's
but
funny.
Listen, that signing of Mohamed Kudus is a hell of a signing.
So this makes them kind of for real this season, at least not finish in the bottom half of the table.
It also, so obviously we've talked about it before, I think, with the Lucas Paqueta betting scandal and how that might influence the team. If indeed, and personally I think the league's going to wait till probably May, to issue anything like they did with Ivan Toney, wait till the end of the year.
Yep.
But if indeed they do come through with something earlier, Kudus fits that hole that right there that Paqueta would leave. So getting that signing in, I think, was probably one of the more important ones that they've had this summer. Holy crap, James Ward-Prowse, where the hell was this with Southampton? Like, what
surround yourself with quality. No, you surround yourself with quality, and you get quality back. He's playing on a team who were tipped to be relegated anyway. So what's the? I'm not saying you shouldn't play for your club anyway to play out, but like,
Aaron, I'll admit, I thought there were rumors of Liverpool. Yeah, like I honestly thought that there were rumors that he was going to end up coming to Liverpool, and I was like, I don't want him here. I don't think he's that good. You know, he wouldn't. Where's he going to? He's not going to start. You know, for the money that they wanted to pay. What a bargain you could end up being for West Ham. What an absolute bargain he could end up being. It may only be 1 year, 2 years that he's actually this good, but he's already proven, and he hasn't even hit a free kick yet. You know, like he hasn't even made one of those, and he's already, you know, playing pretty damn well. So, props to West Ham. Their recruitment team, led by I think it was Tim Stuyton, is their director of football. West Ham fans, I'll bet you it's nice to actually have a real director of football for once that actually knows what he's doing. He's been on top of it. You know, even tried to get one of the young players from City on a deal, but that fell through. But yeah, the guy's been doing a hell of a job. They've been doing a great job. The only thing I hope they don't do, because it will definitely ruin it, is go after Harry Maguire and finally get Harry Maguire. He's like, leave him where he deserves to be, at Manchester United. That's what I'm just saying.
Well, I think Ten Hag said that he has no intentions of selling Harry Maguire at this point because it's probably too late in the window to get a replacement. And as bad as Harry Maguire actually is, so there's that. He's going to find playing time within tournaments. He's going to find playing time with injury. It's just he's so doofy is the problem. Like he actually had, I think the highest tackle rate on Man United up at like I think it was like 80%, somewhere up north of 80%. So it's not like he's a bad player. He just does. It's like De Gea. He just does dumb things sometimes, and it kills him. And it always gets magnified because his forehead's about 4 acres wide. So it's like, there it is.
It's a 5 head. It's not a 4 head.
But West Ham, I think, only really need to get a striker at this point. Yeah. I think to round out this summer's transfers, a striker would be.
I would say maybe a center back.
The best window, probably a center back too. They probably could use coverage or not have.
I think they definitely need at least one defender. I think would do them a load of justice there. Because I'll be honest with you, I can see them at some point. I can see them leaking a lot of goals. You know, D'Lo Carrera, probably. You know, back there. You got Kurt Zuma's not the greatest.
No, I think he's serviceable, and I think serviceable for a mid-table team. So
yeah,
he fits that role for now. And they probably don't have the money at this moment to actually go out and buy one. They'll probably have to get a loan in, which is fine for most teams who only really need coverage anyway. Like West Ham just had a weird blip season last year. I think they got caught with not having enough players for coverage because in that European conference, I think they were averaging like 3.5 goals. And then when they came domestically, it was like 1.5 goals. So how did the goals evaporate? It really actually shows the fact that the Premier League is this strong from top to bottom, and it's really freaking hard to score goals in this league. And the season before that, they ended up 7th, getting the European Conference, and they put up a good number of points. So it's a nice little surprise that West Ham are doing as well as they are. And I hope they continue to, evolve and play better and they don't flop midway through the season. But it is only 3 games through. So
yeah,
from what
I thought that was the best execution of a David Moyes game plan I've ever seen, in my opinion. Sitting back. But I would ask you this, is this the best Is this the most surprising team that you've seen in the first 3 game weeks? Is this the most surprising team, West Ham?
I would actually have to go. So I'm going to say no because I'm obviously changing my mind here. But I actually think it's probably Spurs. I think it's actually Spurs. I didn't think they would be able to transition this well under Ange. I thought there was going to be a little bit more bumps in the road. Not to knock what West Ham are doing. They are. That's why we're talking about them. But Spurs are also up there. They signed James Maddison, and this is why I said I think Harry Kane picked the wrong time to leave. And there's nothing.
Maybe that's why they're good.
That's what I said too, though. I was like, maybe he was the reason why he was bringing down. Every year it was like, is Kane gonna leave? So there's always that rumor mill going on. And it's not even just the transfer window season. It's literally through the whole season. So now that weight is gone, they can actually concentrate on playing soccer and not who the hell are we going to feed it to. And
yeah,
I actually think Kane picked a bad time to leave. And going to Bayern isn't really a bad move either. So he's going to win trophies, obviously. But
it could end up being a win-win.
But the way the Spurs went out and signed players, like they've got I think they were missing a playmaker, a creative playmaker like James Maddison is. And I think they went out and signed, let me see. I think Emerson Royale has been he's stepped up his game again. Basuma actually is looking pretty good. I think he was worth the $30 million that they signed him for. He was injured last season, and I think he's stepped up his game as well. Pedro Porro is looking a little bit better, not as mentally head shaky as other times when he was signed in the wintertime. Pepe Sarr looking like a really good signing. That was another player Villa really wanted to get their hands on, just couldn't get it.
What a good signing that was.
Yeah, so really, and they got Manor Solomon for free. Like they've made good signings this summer window.
Yeah, I don't even think he's played that much, to be honest with you. I think is he injured?
No, I think he's not injured, but I don't think he's integrated to the squad as quick as Ange wants him to be. And really, the only blemish on this team at this point is Richarlison. I mean, their defense too, honestly. And I'm not a fan of Vicario. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Oh, the new keeper.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him, but that's okay. I mean, Hugo Lloris was on the downside.
If you can defend the way they're defending, you only need your keeper to do so much. You know, like. And that's, I mean, it's another reason why they were also in the market for David Raya. They wanted a guy that could, you know, be
play
that guy,
a competent goalkeeper. Yeah, so they don't have to worry about that.
No, I agree with you. A lot of the good signings. That's a good shout. Again, the blemish on there is Richarlison.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, there's a few days left in the transfer window. Closes on September 1st. I think it's like 6 p.m. here.
I think it's 6 p.m.
like
for
that.
us.
For on the East Coast. So it definitely gives them a little bit of time to get something in, maybe get a striker. There's a lot of, I mean, listen, they got the money. So if they want to go out and get a good striker, they can go get one.
That's not necessarily true that they have the money. That might actually go towards funding the new stadium that they have as well.
True.
So I'm sure they can split the cost. And, you know, some of this will go to striker. Some of this will go to the new stadium that they just put up. So,
but if there's a deal to be had, though, I think they go for it, right?
Sure. I would. I mean, if you can get you don't even have to be top notch. You just have to be better than Richarlison.
Which I might be on the transfer list for them. You never know. You know, that's how bad Richarlison's been. There's a good chance they go for my week and. My right foot is weak. My left foot is even weaker. So that's how my game is played. Basically, it's the same as Richarlison if you really would think about it.
Yeah,
both of us could have started for Brazil in the World Cup.
Yeah, well, that's not true. He actually only plays in cup. Like he only balls out in cup tournaments. That's it.
But again, against weaker opponents.
Wow.
He should be good in the early rounds of the EFL Cup for Spurs. If I'm.
He actually did score today.
Did he score today? There you go. There you go.
Hold on.
That's exactly the games you got to play him. Get him off the pitch for any big game or anything. Even when
Actually,
he
it was
scores
against Fulham.
games, though, his teams usually lose. So
it was against Fulham. Oh wait, what did you just say? Hold on.
Even when he does score, his teams usually lose. If you look at the one time he scored last year, his team lost 80 seconds later.
So they played Fulham and he scored. Actually, Spurs scored all the goals. It ended up being a 1-1 draw. They had to go to pens. And Spurs
scored
lost.
The own goal.
Mickey Van de Veen.
Again?
Yeah.
That's his second one. He's only played 4 games.
Yeah, I actually think I like him. I
like him a lot.
I'm a Wolfsburg fan, so I'm a little disappointed that he left for Spurs. But Fulham won 5-3 on pens. Speaking
of Bundesliga, shout out to Heinz, the Frankfurt fan at Wolfsburg Garden all the time.
Oh, heck yeah.
Good guy. If you ever want to go watch a Bundesliga game with somebody, go watch a Bundesliga game with him. You'll learn a lot. You will learn a lot. Not just about the game but you name the topic. Guy is a pool of knowledge in many sense of the term.
For sure. All right. Since it's almost getting that time, let's move on to predictions for match week 4.
All right. Listen, I think I did pretty good last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I would say I didn't count up my points last week. I forgot to. I'm not about to do the math on, recorded. So we'll just assume that I got somewhere in the 7 to 10 ballpark this time.
All right. Do you want me to? I'll read off Rhett's scores if you want to. If you want to, give me a game there, brother.
So we'll start at the top. We'll do Luton and West Ham. Luton is home. Luton is home. They get to play home for a change.
Is it actually at their stadium?
If it would have been canceled otherwise, right? I thought they put in. Well, I thought that's why the Burnley match didn't get to play, because they were doing repairs, and I thought I had heard that they were postponing that one, and then they'll be able to play the next match.
I could see them moving to a closer stadium, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But if it is at home for Luton, big day for them. They're playing West Ham, team that's really hot right now. Sorry for the home opener for Luton fans, but it's I got 4-0. 4-0 for West Ham over Luton. Rhett is about a half what I'm doing. He's going 2-0.
I'll stick it in between. I am a 3-0. All right, Sheffield United and Everton. Sheffield United is at home.
Man, Everton, every single match week, are they like the worst game on the docket? Is it them
when you're in the bottom of the league?
Still have not scored a goal. Obviously have no wins. No points. However, I think they do come out of this one with a single point. I do think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Sheffield's not blowing me away. They look decent at times against Nottingham Forest
and City.
In the last match. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one because I can see that one either being a draw or a Sheffield win. So, but I'm gonna go 1-1. Rhett is gonna go 1-0. Sheffield. Everton still not scoring. If I hope his prediction's actually correct in all honesty.
I actually said 1-0 myself. Oh, hold on, that's not true. I said 1-1, I believe. So a draw. Going with a draw.
So we're giving Everton fans something to walk away with.
A little
goal.
Yeah, right. A little reprieve. I actually went away from my predictions. Here we go. Let's do Brentford-Bournemouth. Brentford is at home.
This one, so Bournemouth need a strong performance here. The first 3 match weeks haven't gone, the way they'd wanted. Obviously, goals have been hard to come by for them so far, which has been that way for a lot of the teams in the middle of the pack and lower towards the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a draw here as well. I'm going to go 1-1 with this one as well. I think Brentford has been playing pretty darn well. I played a decent game against Palace this past week. I got a draw into that one. I think this one's going to be quite similar. My guy to watch though, if you're watching Bournemouth, you've got to watch Kirkaz, the young Hungarian left back for Bournemouth. The guy is a super talent.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he'll be on Bournemouth next year. I think he gets picked up. He's that good. But I'm going 1-1. Rhett has a Brentford win, a 2-1 Brentford win on that one. So he's got Brentford picking up the points and Bournemouth with another dud of a performance.
I'm actually feeling that scoreline too, 2-1 Brentford. Bournemouth just, I don't know, they've got some flair with like some of their players, but just not all. What I think they need to do is what they did last year and push Phil Billingsley up again in more of an advanced attacking role. When he gets up there, it's really hard to guard a guy who's 6'6".
Yeah. That's how they beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
He was the one that scored the goal, you know?
Yeah, he's in fact, he probably should have had a goal last match. He just pulled it wide of the post, and it was such a solid strike that everybody was surprised it didn't actually go in.
And you know who actually really had a great game. I gotta say against for Bournemouth last time against Spurs was Semenyo. Very lively when the ball was at his feet.
Yes.
Made some nice runs. They're only missing the end product, Bournemouth. That's the thing. They've got everything else. They've been defending pretty darn well for the most part. A lot of the goals that they've had have been, against them have been kind of unlucky in some ways. So I would say that they're stronger than what their record is right now. But unfortunately, their record is what they are. So
they are who they thought we were.
They are who we thought they
were. Moving on to Burnley and Spurs.
This game, I think, has Spurs written all over it. This is one of those games where I think James Madison's going to tear it up. I had this one actually kind of starred for one of the games I want to watch this week because it's a team that's flying high right now and a team that's looking to get off the schneid with a young coach that needs to prove a point.
Sure.
Burnley didn't play too bad against Aston Villa. Aston Villa just overpowered them when they wanted to. That's the thing. I think it's going to kind of be the same deal this week with Spurs. I got 3-1 Tottenham over Burnley. Rhett is going almost the same score. He's got 2-1 Tottenham over Burnley.
I went 3-1 myself, Spurs. So, unfortunately, Burnley is just not going to get off the schneid. Yeah. Chelsea and Forest. What are we feeling?
This one's going to be interesting, man. I could see this one going any which way, you name it. I'm going to go Chelsea 2-1 on this one. I think that they got a little extra rest. They got an extra day, having played on Friday, so they'll get that. I think Pochettino it finally felt like he got everything clicking. Raheem Sterling played a great game for once. So I do think Chelsea are going to ride a little bit of momentum. It's going to be close, so I'm going to go 2-1. Rhett is going to go draw 2-2 with Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest haven't been playing terrible football. They just can't defend.
I agree. I think I went with Chelsea 2-1. And I was a little bit – I was like, maybe they'll put in 2. But I think that the bubble is kind of going to pop. The emotional high of scoring 2 goals and then also losing 3-2 throughout, the rest of that match and the way they lost, I think is going to carry into the next match. So I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
And I'll tell you what, that Nottingham Forest team, they're no slouch.
No, they've Brendan Johnson, real good player. He's going to get bought.
Hopefully he stays with them.
I hope that Villa get him. Also, Morgan Gibbs-White, really good player. And Awani is turning up a good season for what they bought him for. He's starting to turn in some goals, some investment.
If only the English could see it back in their conscience about 4 or 5 years ago to give him his visa so he could play for Liverpool.
Oops.
We had him. We had him, and we basically, we had him for 5 years, and it took him to the 5th year to get that visa in order to play. Yeah. So, and then literally we sold him right off to Union Berlin after that for like £12 million. So I'm proud he's doing good though. He was always one of those guys physically just gifted. He may not have all the other intangibles that Holland and Nunez and Kane, strikers like that have, but he's a force.
Big and he's strong and he can run quick.
Oh yeah,
that helps. City, Fulham, City at home.
Easy one. City 3-0. I think that's a cakewalk for them. Rhett's actually thinking the same thing. He's got 4-0.
Oh wow. Okay. I actually went with 2-1 City.
Wow, you think it's going to be close?
I do. Fulham are weird, and they just they score on set pieces really well, and I think as long as they can keep City away from corners and set pieces, which is really hard to do when you have Jack Grealish as a starter. Bertrand Leno is a good shot stopper, and he knows how to read shots really well. It comes down to whether they as in City can capitalize on set pieces.
I see where you're coming from, because Fulham have been they are one of those no quit type teams. They are going to get Tim Ream back for this match. So that is also a big plus. And they played City pretty well, at least if I remember one of the two matches last year.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happen, especially without no Kevin De Bruyne. He got me thinking about my score, but I'm going to
stick with your gut.
I'm going to stick with it. 3-0. Reds got 4-0, but you got me thinking, though.
Moving on to Brighton and Newcastle. They're playing at the Amex.
Oof, this one could go either way. Brighton's last performance against West Ham proved to me that you can actually you can
chink.
Yeah,
chink in the armor.
You can beat Brighton by letting them also play their game. And I didn't think a team could actually do that the way West Ham did. Not props to them. Basically just saying, hey, we're going to defend and counter. That's it. We're going to defend and counter the whole game, and it worked. I see this one tight. I think the offense is going to be at display, but I do think it's going to be a little tighter. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle. They get back in the winners column. With that one over Brighton. Rhett has 3-1 Newcastle, so he's kind of thinking the same thing.
Living the Newcastle life. I went 2-2 draw. I think that De Zerbi is going to get everyone's head screwed on right. There was nothing. Brighton didn't do anything wrong, but not finish. They had a massive amount of the possession. They had a massive amount of touches. They just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. And Areola was playing out of his mind. He was on his head the whole game. And I think they just ran into a shot stopper that was on his day. And they ran into a team who, like you said, took advantage of them being sucked in so far, and all they had to do was throw it up top and let Mikel Antonio, Paqueta, and Jared Bowen run on it. So I don't think Eddie Howe is going to do the same thing that Moyes did. He's going to look at it and be like, okay, if we have to do it, we'll do it, but we're still going to play our high press. We're still going to invade their third, and we're going to get our goals quickly like that. But I think
do you think
match
that lingers on Newcastle, though?
I'm sorry?
Do you think Newcastle's loss to Liverpool last week lingers on them at all? Or
there's a possibility. If it was somebody who wasn't Eddie Howe or a top manager, I would probably agree with that. But I think that Eddie Howe is an exceptional manager, that he'll be like, look, we're on to Cleveland. Let's we dropped
the old Bill Belichick.
We dropped 3 points. There's nothing we can do. It's all in the past. We need to focus on what's the next match here. So I think he's just gonna head down, go.
I like that.
Next match, we got Palace and Wolves. We are playing at Selhurst Park.
So this is going to be a big one. So I'm actually paying attention to the transfer rumors right now around Cheap Decore possibly leaving, which I think would be a bigger loss for Palace against a better team. I don't think it'll be a problem against Wolves because they're most likely going to lose Mateus Nunes as well, who's now training by himself at Wolves. So I like Palace in this one. I like Palace. I think they really will be able to control this game. I think Eze and Elise will take this game to the levels that it needs to be taken in order to get the 3 points. Roy Hodgson, I think, so far has been a pretty decent game manager as far as getting out what he needs to get out from his squad. So I'm going 2-0 Palace over Wolves. Rhett is saying the same thing, 2-0.
I went with a 1-1 draw. I do think, like what we saw from last week with Jose Sa, if he commands his box like he did last week.
What a save.
Dude, his save was so insane. And the Pickford, I know I don't really like Pickford either, but the reaction save he had like 5 minutes before that was awesome as well.
Who had the better save? Was it Jose Sa or Alisson Becker against Almiron?
That's actually a tough question because both of those were phenomenal.
They both could honestly be up for save of the year. That's how good they were. I think
I would just lean Sa because of how deep he was in his own goal to be able to get enough on it to tip it up over the bar. I think that's an incredible, feat of strength and reaction, and everything that he did that match, he did no wrong. I'm not saying that should be looked on, accounted as well, but it was a phenomenal save. Both saves were phenomenal. I forgot what I was going on about. Anyway, we'll just move on to the next one. Liverpool Villa.
Let's this is going to be the interesting one. This one, I'm still up in the air about it. I know it's going to be a close game. It's always been a close game between these two teams the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Besides like maybe one game. There's been a bunch of late goals. Unfortunately for your guys, Liverpool have had a lot of 2-1 wins after 90 minutes, if you know what I mean. But
trust me.
but I'm actually gonna stay with that theme. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool, getting a win. I think Darwin Nunez starts. I think Darwin Nunez scores. I think he got a lot of good chances against Villa last year when they played each other at Villa Park. So this one being at home, I'm gonna go Liverpool 2-1. Rhett is going Liverpool as well. He's going 3-1.
Yeah, well, I'm going to not do that for obvious reasons and say that Villa win 4-2. I have no reason other than the fact that I am pulling energy from the fact that we won 7-2 4 years ago.
But not at Anfield. I mean, it's at Anfield.
It was at Anfield, that 7-2.
No, that was at Villa Park.
No. Yeah, wait.
Liverpool. You know how I know that? Liverpool wore their ugly black kits that game. That was the first time I saw that kit in person. I was like, yeah, it looks like crap. So I bought one. That's what I did. I went and bought one.
That's always a smart way to go about it. But
right?
This match is going to be exciting. This is another one of those starred matches. This one, and I think Brighton and Newcastle are the starred matches for this.
I would say this one and the one right after it,
and then this one as well. Arsenal United, and it's at Gunners. Why did I just forget? It's at Arsenal. I just totally forgot. Yeah, I don't know why I just blanked on that. I literally got everybody else but Arsenal's. Oh
well. This one, man. This game is going to be this is the game of the week. If you're going to watch anything, watch this game. I don't like even if you're a fan of one of the other teams, you got to put what you're doing down and just watch this game because I think neither of these teams really have proven anything yet.
I kind of agree with that,
especially Manchester United. They honestly, the fact that they have 6 points ahead of the season, I think, is a miracle. Arsenal did not look good last week. I wasn't really bought with the way they played against Crystal Palace. I didn't think it was as good as they're capable of.
Yeah.
I think the offense, offensively, they're not showing me enough to really want to pick them to win this game. Then again, Manchester United have been so horrible. But then again, the way they fought back this week, being down to, still being able to come back and get it, even though it was a bit dodgy. I got this game going 2-2. I I can't separate anything yet that's going to tell me if anybody's going to get this one and nick it at the end. It's going to be Arsenal, but I'm going 2-2. Reds going 3-1 Arsenal, which was the other scoreline I was thinking about, but Reds going 3-1 Arsenal over United.
You couldn't make it a happy, easy 3-1 either, because I went 3-1 as well.
Did you?
Yeah, seriously, I went 3-1. And by the way, people, we don't share until we get like the day of, just before the show. I don't even pay attention to what you guys put in, to be honest. I just copy it and paste it into the, well,
if it's anything like the way I did last week, you might want to just copy mine. That's what I'm saying.
Stop. Oh boy. All right. We're hitting the 1:15 marker here. I know I was not
beers on Sunday?
Yes, definitely beers on Sunday. I will be there. For sure. I will be the only. And if there's any Aston Villa fans, please come down to Wolf's Beer Garden.
Yes, and there's Aaron, I'll tell you this, there are a few of them out there, and they are out there. I've met quite a few actually. There's some damn good fans, I gotta say. There's actually some Wolves fans out there too in the Capital Region that are really good fans. So the more the merrier, in my opinion.
Oh, it's the best sports soccer bar on the planet. I'm going down. I'm dying on that ship. I don't care.
Oh yeah, me too. Listen, I'm driving that bus, man. Wherever that bus is going, I'm driving it.
All right. I don't have any true false because I wasn't prepared for this. So I was barely prepared to put up any type of.
I got two.
You have two? All right.
I got two. I'm going to shoot them right to you.
That's fine. Let's rip.
All right. First one. True or false? The Premier League goes back on their stances with these cheap yellow cards by match week 10.
False. They can't even get their head screwed on right to figure out what it right is. So there's no real reason for me to believe that they're gonna admit that they're wrong. And that's the other part too, is are they willing to admit that? Because at this point I think they're just gonna stick with it and work through the growing pains.
Last one. True or false? West Ham are a top 4 contender.
False. There's too many other quality teams ahead of them. I think they definitely will be mid as far as like 12 to 8, and they might push European Conference this year, but there's still that top that's way too top heavy. And I think by Christmas we'll sort out that it'll probably be like Arsenal and Liverpool and maybe Brighton's still in there and Newcastle. So I just don't see they just don't have that quality yet to get over into the top 4.
I've got one more for you.
Okay.
The relegation battle will be over by the end of April. All 3 teams will already know will be relegated.
All 3 teams? True. It's looking pretty dire for most of these teams that are down there. The fact that Everton haven't scored, Luton Town is Luton Town, and unfortunately they just haven't bought enough in order to live in the Premier League. And whoever that third team is right now, it's Burnley. I think it might actually end up being probably Sheffield United to get sent down. I'm not sure actually what I put up for my who got relegated.
I'll tell you what, I might be with last Saturday's results for Wolves. I might be eating my words. Maybe.
I did say Everton. Wolves.
I should have put Everton down there where I knew they belonged, but
I'm pretty sure I also put Wolves, Everton, and Luton Town because of the money issues, and they lost Lopetegui. Yeah. Why wouldn't I think that? They brought in Gary O'Neill.
You know what, Aaron? Burnley has come out of the gate worse than I thought they would have.
Yeah, same.
They're a team that I honestly thought were going to come out a little bit stronger.
Yep.
Obviously, it looks like they're going to try to reinforce here. They're going to put in a bid for Johan Bakayoko from PSV.
Yeah.
I hope they don't, because I want that kid on my team real bad. He's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows at this point? It's a crapshoot at the bottom as much as it is at for the most part at the top.
Yeah. I actually do have a true false. I just thought of it.
Shoot.
True false. The first manager to be. Sorry, hold on. Oh, hold on. 2 managers will be sacked by match week 6. I don't care who they are, but I'm saying 2 managers at that point will be sacked.
False. I'm going to say that because Everton are stupid. They're going to keep Sean Dyche until the winter.
Oh, they might keep him even after the winter window, like Leeds did.
They might. So I'm going to go false. I'm going to say because there's like 3 or 4 that I could see being under fire right now. I don't think the Bournemouth manager is under fire. Iraola, I think he just needs time. They haven't been that bad.
They've scored goals at least, you know. Like
Luton Town, I think are one to be in the mix. I think depending on what continues to happen with Nottingham Forest, despite getting the win in match week 2, I think that's a bit of an issue for them. Is Steve Cooper obviously always kind of been on the hot seat with that guy.
Yep.
Sheffield United, obviously, I think is a big one. Wolves, obviously, just got the new manager. Let's see how he continues on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go false. I think there's way too much up in the air. There's not so much distance between any of these teams quite yet.
That's fair.
I would say we don't. I would even go as far as saying we don't see one until at least match week 10.
That was what as soon as I said 6, I was like, that's too soon. I should have said like 9, 10, 11.
It's not, though. We had 2 managers fired, I think, after 4 weeks last year. So that's, I remember, because we had the Bournemouth manager.
Scott Parker.
Yeah, Scott Palmer was gone. And I'm trying to think of was it Thomas Tuchel?
Oh, probably.
I think it was Thomas Tuchel.
8, somewhere in there.
Somewhere around, yeah. I think 2 of them were pretty close.
Yeah.
I think maybe it might have been 5 or 6 match weeks for Tuchel.
Yep.
But yeah, it's happened. Crazy shit's happened, man.
It's possible. Anything's possible in the Premier League, baby, and that's why we love covering it. So, You guys, thank you for sticking around. We obviously don't know how to keep time because we don't have Rhett here, so we just like to talk and spew out whatever we have. We just don't care. We know you love hearing it, so thank you for staying around this long. If you could follow us, like us, subscribe, follow us, anything, please. We love it. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are not on X. I refuse to go on
Twitter
there.
X, is it Twitter X?
I don't know. I just see X. I'm assuming it's the X-Men or
should have just called it Twerks, and
that would have been
done with it. That's what I would have did.
Where you can hear us on Spotify, YouTube, see us on YouTube if you want to see our ugly mugs. It's fine. If you don't, wherever Anchor drops, pretty much we're on there. So again, this has been a wonderful episode of Swinging at Shins. Woodsy, thank you.
See ya. I'll see you Sunday. We'll have some beers, brother.
We'll have some beers. I'll see you Sunday. Adios, everybody. Well, guys, that was an episode of Swinging at Shins. We appreciate you for coming out and listening to us. If you guys want to hear or see more, we have links in the description below. We hope to hear from you soon and hear more about what you have to say.